Where does San Mateo County's ultra-rich live? Atherton lost for 8 straight years. 94027 was the single most expensive zip code in the United States. Last year, it got knocked into second place by a private island off the coast of Miami. Now, here's a part where everybody scrolling past the headlines missed. Atherton didn't get cheaper. Atherton set a record, according to Property Shark's 2025 rankings. The median sales price in Atherton climbed to about $8.3 million, the highest number the town have ever posted. The cheapest house that got traded there all year still went for $3.2 million. So how do you set an all-time record and lose at the same time? That question is the entire reason I'm making this video, because the answer is the exact thing that relocating buyers get wrong on the peninsula. And it is the reason people showed up here with real money, buy a beautiful house on a famous street, and quietly lose 7-figure they never had to lose. If you're moving to San Mateo County, if you just had a liquidity event, if you're coming from Seattle, or Austin, or New York, or even Singapore, and you're looking above $3 million, stay with me. This is the video I wish somebody had made for the clients I've watched learn this the hard way. I'm Decent Kai. My team and I work with relocating buyers and high net worth families across the San Francisco Peninsula. My focus is not just get you into the prestigious zip code. Anybody with a checkbook can do that. My focus is land quality, school boundaries, and long-term value. The 4 things that almost never showed up in the listing photo. Here's what I'm covering today. First, the 6 pockets where San Mateo County's real wealth actually concentrates, and what make each one genuinely different from the other. Not just the tourist version, the version I give you seeing my car. Second, what it actually takes to buy at the top of the market right now, in the middle of 2026, because it's not what most people think. And third, the single most expensive mistake I see relocating buyers make. I've watched it played out enough times. I can usually see it coming 3 weeks before it happens. If you find this useful, hit subscribe. I put out Peninsula market breakdowns like this every single week. And I'd rather you hear from someone that actually stay on these streets than from a listing description. Let's get started. Let me tell you why I care about this so much. A couple of years ago, I got a call from a family relocating out of Pacifica Northwest. Very smart people. Tech money, well advised, spreadsheets for everything. They had already found the house. They have flown down twice on their own. They love it, and they were calling me essentially to just write the offer. That was it, paperwork. And I asked them one question. I asked which side of the street it was on. There was a long pause. And then somebody on the call said, does that matter? On that particular street, it mattered by about $2 million because of the elementary school boundary run right down the middle of it. Same trees, same view, same architect, honestly, and a complete different resale pool. We didn't buy the house. We bought a less charming house 4 blocks away that has appreciated in a way the other one has not. That call changed how I do this job. Because that family did nothing wrong. They did everything a reasonable person does. They just didn't know what they didn't know. And out here, what you don't know is priced in rather you see it or not. So let's go pocket by pocket, starting with one that genuinely in a category of its own. The crown, Atherton. There is Atherton. And then there is everywhere else. That's not marketing. That's just what the transaction data says. The feel. Atherton is flat. That is the entire secret. And I want you to actually sit with that for a second because it sounds boring and it is worth billions of dollars. This is a town of roughly 1 to 2 acre lots, level ground, mature oaks, hinges 25 foot high, gates, long driveways, and almost no reason for anyone to drive down your street unless they live on it. There is no downtown, there is no commercial strip, there is couch and stop, and a lot of very expensive silence. Privacy in Atherton is not bought with distance. It is bought with landscaping. You can be 400 feet from a billionaire and never once see them. Who lives there? Venture capital, senior tech leadership, founders post-exit, and a layer of old Bay Area money that has been here since long before anybody said the word Silicon. Sand Hill Road is essentially next door. That proximity is not just a coincidence. It's the whole business model of the town. The numbers. According to Property Shark's 2025 report, Atherton's median sales price hit roughly $8.3 million, up about 5% year over year. And its top transaction of the year was an off-market sale of a roughly 10,000 square foot estate that changed hands for $51.5 million. Read that again. Off-market, $51.5 million. And it never hit the public internet. That single fact tells you more about how this market works than any chart I can put together on the screen. The micro pockets, and this is where people get hurt. Atherton is not one market. It is 3 or 4. West of Alameda is the deep seclusion play. Big oaks, quiet lanes, the most isolated part of town. Lindenwood is the gay enclave feel, a little more of a neighborhood rhythm, which some family want and some absolutely do not. Lorden Park sits closer to Caltrain and El Camino. More accessible, more urban edge, and priced accordingly. These are not interchangeable. And here's a piece almost nobody tells relocating buyers. Atherton addresses don't all feed the same elementary school. Depending on where you land, you could be in the Menlo Park City District, or Las Lomitas, or a different district entirely. Same town, same tax bill, same zip code, very different buyer pool where you go to sell in 8 years. Verify the boundary with the district directly for the specific parcel, not the listing, not the app, the district. My honest opinion, I think Atherton is the most misunderstood luxury market in America, and I'll tell you why. Everyone treats it as a trophy, a flex, a headline. It isn't. It's land market where a house custom. In Atherton, you're almost always buying the dirt. The structure on it is frequently a depreciating asset that the next owner is going to scrap or gut. So when a buyer tells me they fell in love with the kitchen, I get nervous because the kitchen is going to be a dumpster in 6 years and they are paying for a premium for it today. Buy the parcel, buy the flatman, buy the trees, buy the boundary. Everything else is negotiable and most of it is temporary. Now, if Atherton is flat, hinged, invisible version of wealth, the next town does something very different with it. It puts it on the hill and it makes it a rule.
Thinking about relocating to the San Francisco Bay Area? Well, I got just a thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you will need to know before making the move, the best part about this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me right, 100% free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps.
The quiet giant, Hillsborough. Hillsborough is the town that outsiders constantly underrate and locals never do. The feel. Winding roads, canyons, huge trees, and almost an eerie absence of anything commercial. I mean that literally. Hillsborough has essentially no commercial zone, no shops, no offices, no apartment buildings. It is, by design, only houses. The town also carries minimum standard that shapes everything about it. Roughly half-acre minimum lots and minimum home sizes that keep small builders out. You cannot chop a Hillsborough estate into 4 little ones. The town's rule won't let you. That scarcity is baked into the price permanently. Who lives here? A very different profile than Atherton. More established, more multi-generational. A lot of finance and medicine and family wealth along tech. Less churn. People buy in Hillsborough and then they simply stay. Sometimes for 30 years. The number. Here's why I need to teach you something. According to Redfin, Hillsborough's median sales price in spring of 2026 was sitting up around $7.1 million. According to Zillow's home value index, over roughly the same window, the typical Hillsborough home value was closer to $5 million. 2 reputable sources and the $2 million gap. Which one is lying? Neither. And understanding why is it honestly worth more to you than either number. Redfin's figure is a median of actual closed sales. And in a town where only a handful of homes trade in any given month, 2 big estates closing can drag the median up $1 million overnight. Zillow index is a more smooth model across every home in town, including the ones that never sell. So it moves slowly, it flattens out the spikes. In a thin market, the medium is a mood, not a measurement. This is the number one reason relocating buyers misprice the peninsula. They pull a medium off an app, they anchor to it, and then they either lowball themselves out of every deal, or they wildly overpay because thinking 6 million is the going rate for something that should have traded for maybe 4.5. Please write this down. In towns this small, ignore the median. Build a comp set, 6 to 12 months of actual closed sales, adjusted for lot, slope, privacy, and permits. The Hillsborough insider know flat land is gold. In a town built on canyon, a half acre of usable flat yard will be a full acre of a 30-degree slope, basically every single time. And the price per square foot will tell you lower Hillsborough, the flatter pocket closer to Burlingame, tends to command a strongest number for exactly that reason. The Highlands offers view and quiet and often better value per dollar, but you are trading away the level lawn. If you want a pool, a sports court, a flat run of grass for your kids, and a guest house, yeah, you're shopping for topography, not for square footage. Alright, pause with me for a second, because we are about to get into the part of this video that I actually built it for. So let's go back to my opening question. How does Atherton set an all-time record and still lose the crown? We have now seen two towns where the headline numbers and the reality are two different animals. Atherton, where the median went up and the ranking went down. Hillsborough, where two respective sources disagree by $2 million, and both of them are correct. You are starting to see the shape of it. On this peninsula, the number of the screen and the truth on the street are not the same thing. And we haven't even got to the expansion part yet, because there are still 4 pockets I haven't showed you. And one of them contains a trap that has cost buyers I know personally more money than every other mistake on the list combined. It has nothing to do with price. It has to do with permission. I'll get into it in about 3 minutes. Before I do, one thing. I put together a peninsula relocating guide that has the comp building framework I just described, the school boundary, checklist, and a question to ask before you write an offer in any of these towns. It's free. The link is in the description. I'd rather you download it and never call me than call me after you sign something, grab it, then come right back. Alright, let's go over the hill. The revelation, Woodside and Portola Valley. You cross under 280 and the entire county changes character. The feel, redwoods, horse trails, roads with no sidewalks and no streetlights, ranches, barns, vineyards, one land bridge. Woodside and Portola Valley are the rural conscience of the county, otherwise obsessed with proximity. It is about 15 minutes from Sand Hill Road and it feels like 3 hours. Who live here? This is what a very particular kind of wealth does. The kind that already proved everything it needs to prove. Land, sky, and not to be looked at. A lot of Sand Hill, a lot of early tech, and a culture war showed up to a dinner party in a truck is a higher status move than showing up in anything else. The numbers, reference spring 2026 snapshot, puts Woodside's medium around $5.75 million. And Zillow's index has Portola Valley averaging in the low 4 millions. Up close to 10% year over year. But the median barely means anything here. The Palo Alto Weekly Report recently closings included a $25.5 million sale in Woodside and a $16.3 million sale in Portola Valley. And the Portola Valley property is traded for $56 million at the end of 2025. The range in these towns is enormous. This is not noise. This is the market telling you something. And here is the revelation. In Woodside and Portola Valley, you are not buying a house. You are not even really paying for land. You are buying permission. Let me explain what that means. Because this is the thing that separates people who do well up here from people who spend 2 years in a very expensive nightmare. Say you found 8 acres, beautiful oaks, a slope, a view down to the bay, and you have a vision. Knock the old house down, build a modern compound, guest house, pool, office, over the garage. Now, the question starts, is the buildable envelope actually what you think it is? Or is most of that acreage protected slope a corridor, riparian corridor, or heritage tree canopy that the town will not let you touch? Portola Valley sits on San Andreas Fault, and the geographic review is not a formality there. It is a real gate that real projects do not always clear. Is that parcel on septic? Is that on the well? What does the percolation test say? What does the town tree ordinances say about the 14 oak standing exactly where you drew the driveway? I've watched a buyer close on a spectacular piece of Woodside land and then spend 2.5 years and a very large amount of money discovering that the house in their head was never going to be legal on the dirt. They didn't overpay for the land. The land was worth every dollar. They overpaid for a fantasy that the land could not support. My opinion, I feel strongly about this one. If you're buying acreage on the west side of 280, your due diligence budget is not a cost. It is the single highest return investment in the entire transaction. Spending money on the geotech consultation, a civil engineer, and a land use attorney before you are in contract, not after. It will cost you a rounding error against the purchase price, and it is the difference between owning a legacy property and owning a very expensive problem with the view. And one more thing that nobody enjoys talking about: wildfire. Those are beautiful wooded canyon communities, and California's insurance market has been genuinely difficult over the last few years. Insurability is now a real item in the underwriting of the $9 million estate. This is not me trying to scare you off the west side, because I love the west side and I happily live there. It is me telling you to get an insurance quote in writing during your contingency period, not after closing. Know your number before you commit to it. Alright, let's come back east, because there is a completely different type of wealth. Live around 8 minutes here, and it wants to opposite of everything I just described. The walkable tier: Menlo Park, Burlingame, and San Mateo Park. Not everybody with money wants a gate or 8 acres. Some people want to walk to dinner, and that instinct has quietly built some of the most competitive real estate in the county. Menlo Park, West Menlo, Allied Arts, Felton Gables, Sharon Heights. This is prestige with the sidewalk. You get the Menlo School reputation, you get Santa Cruz Avenue, you get a 5-minute drive to Stanford and 2-minute drive to Sand Hill, and you get a neighborhood where people actually see each other. According to Property Shark's 2025 list, Menlo Park's 94025 landed in the national top 40 with a median around $2.8 million, which sounds almost reasonable until you realize what that median is averaging together. The estate pocket of Menlo Park trades multiples above that. Burlingame and San Mateo Park. Now, this is the pocket I think out-of-state buyers most consistently slip on, and I want to make a case for it. San Mateo Park is old money, not tech money, old, quiet, established San Francisco Peninsula money, with big lots, mature landscaping, and architecture that been there for a century. Redfin has it around $4.5 million as a median this spring. Burlingame give you a genuinely walkable downtown, an easy Caltrain shot into the city, and a school reputation that families move here specifically for. Here's my case. If your job is in San Francisco rather than in the Valley, and you are spending $5 million, I think the North County is a stronger buy than the equivalent number spent chasing a lesser property in a more famous town. You get more house, more neighborhood, and a shorter commute. The resale pool is broad and deep, which, as you about to hear, matter more than almost anything. And a quick note on the coast. Half Moon Bay and the coastside are the legitimate luxury market in their own right, and they operate on completely different rules, coastal commission rules, that deserves their own video. If you want that one, say so in the comment, I'll make one. Now, let's answer the question I opened with, the climate, why Atherton lost at the #1 mistake. Atherton lost its ranking to the Fisher Island, Florida. Fisher Island is a private island with roughly about 600 housing units, mostly condos, and something like 10 to 20 sales in a given year. Atherton, on the other hand, has thousands of homes, 1 to 2 acre estate parcels, and closes multiple times that number annually. So when a couple of Fisher Island penthouses trade at a monster number, the median moves violently. This is a thin market, and thin markets swing. Atherton is deep. Atherton is real. Functioning, liquid estate market with the actual price discovery. And it is still set at an all-time record last year. One of these markets owns a headline. The other one has a floor underneath. And that is the #1 mistake I see relocating buyers make. They buy the headline instead of the fundamentals. They buy the name of the town instead of the side of the street. They buy the median off an app instead of building a common comp set. They buy the acreage instead of a billable envelope. They buy the view instead of the insurance quote. They buy the kitchen instead of the dirt. And here's the consequences in real dollars. Because of Proposition 13, your property tax basis resets at your purchase price. When you buy an $8 million in San Mateo County, you are typically signing up for somewhere in the neighborhood of a $90,000 a year property tax every year, forever, adjusted upward. Confirm the exact rate with the county assessor for your parcel, but understand the shape of it. If you overpay by $2 million because you fell in love with the headlines, you did not just lose $2 million, you buy yourself a permanent inflated tax basis on top of it. That mistake compounds for as long as you own the home. The most expensive thing in this county is not a house. It is the wrong assumption you carry into the escrow. So let's put it all together. Atherton is a land market, flat, hinged, private, and the structure is often temporary. Buy the parcel and confirm the school boundary at the parcel level. Hillsborough is a scarcity market. No commercial zone, minimum lot sizes, and a medium that is based on rumor. Flat, usable land is the value driver. Woodside and Portola Valley are permission markets. Do your geotech, your civil, your land use, and your insurance homework before you are in contract, not after. Menlo Park, Burlingame, and San Mateo Park are the walkable tier. If your life points north to the city rather than south to the valley, they may quietly be the best value in the county. And underneath all of it, this. According to Riffin, San Mateo County's single-family median has been running above $2 million, the highest any county in California. Compass counted 40 sales above $5 million across the Mid-Peninsula in a single month in the spring, up from the 30 from the year prior. According to Freddie Mac, 30-year fix has been hovering near 6% this year, which matters less here, where a lot of this is cash. But it still shapes the tier below you and therefore the buyer who eventually buys your house. I'm not going to tell you this market is about to crash. I'm not going to tell you it is about to double. I do not know. And nobody who tells you they know is being straight with you. What I tell you is that this is a genuinely split market right now. Buyer riding the AI wave are competing hard, and buyer watching layoff headlines are sitting on their hands. And both of these things are true at the same time in the same zip code, which means the fundamentals matter more, not less. Look, everything I just told you, I learned by standing on the streets. Watching good people making expensive mistakes were completely avoidable. If you are relocating to the peninsula and you are looking in the luxury tier, reach out before you start touring, not after you have found the house. Before, the phone call is free and it is the highest leverage hour of the entire process. My contact information is right below in this video. If you are not ready to talk to anybody yet, and honestly, a lot of people at this stage aren't downloading the relocation guide in the description. It has the comp building framework, the school boundary checklist, and the due diligence questions for each of the town we covered today. Take it, use it, or go find a great house with or without me. And if you want to go deeper, watch the video linked right here on what actually happens in the off-market world on the peninsula and why the best estates in Atherton and Woodside never once showed up on the public listing site. I'm Decent Kai, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.